sword. And...
So I should not keep commenting about you using the Rock Band microphone?
I totally can't. I think it actually came up on the very first episode, too. Tanner was like, is that the Rock Band microphone?
That one? Yeah, I know. I love that. We talked about this yesterday.
Yes, we did. Okay, let's check my levels.
Well, I'm expecting one of you two to drive the conversation, and I'll just, throw something out there whenever I feel like it, so...
Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Is My Bourbon Podcast, the official show of This Is My Bourbon Shop. My name is Perry. Thank you all so much for tuning in this week as we talk about what makes bourbon the spirit of Kentucky. You get it? Do you? Muted approval. Anyway, this week I have two very special guests on. I am so happy to have them in... I don't want to call this my man cave because it is absolutely not. My wife would be very upset with me if I did that. Hello, dog. Yes, the official dog of the podcast is hanging out with us today, and she might be a little bit of trouble, but that's okay. Anyway, we have the hosts of It's Bourbon Night, the amazing YouTube channel and show, Chad and Sarah. Welcome, Chad and Sarah, to the podcast.
Hi.
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
thank you guys so much for being here and for driving all the way to my house.
Of course.
I heard there would be bourbon, so I came.
There is
As
bourbon.
soon as you called, the bourbon signal went up, and I was there.
There will be bourbon.
The bourbon signal instead of the bat
That's
signal.
a good one.
Copyright, Chad Perkins.
Yeah,
Sorry.
don't steal that idea. I'm on it already.
Made it.
I'm writing that down.
So, as is common throughout the show, we will be drinking, as it is a bourbon podcast.
We've already started.
Yeah, we started not well before, but minutes before we went live and in color.
Just shortly.
So, Chad, what are you drinking?
I am drinking, actually not bourbon, oddly enough. I'm drinking Sazerac Rye.
Baby Sass, yeah.
Baby Saz, and kind of went with that because we just uncorked the Kentucky Owl Rye before we came over here.
And by the time this episode goes live, that episode of It's Bourbon Night will probably be on.
We've got a whole, schedule
queue.
and count. Yeah.
There's a big, long queue
Yeah.
of things in front of it. So who knows? Who knows?
Sure.
It might. It might not.
You never know.
But we tried it today. And thanks, Swan.
Yeah. Thanks to Swan, the bourbon guy.
Yeah.
Swan, the bourbon guy.
Friend of the show.
Yeah.
He needs like a little intro.
Yeah.
Swan, the
Instead of
bourbon
saying, stop looking at me, Swan, I want to say, start drinking with me, Swan. Start drinking with me, Swan. I don't know. Yeah, so we wanted to, because you were saying, and I don't know if this is public knowledge out there on the interwebs, but you were saying that you kind of actually prefer the Baby Saz over that Kentucky
And
Owl
I
Rye.
know how much crap I'm going to get for that. But,
that's the reason of doing all this.
You do you.
Yeah. And, you can find Baby Saz probably way easier than you can find Kentucky Owl Rye.
And it's less expensive.
Yes,
Yeah.
by quite a bit.
Have you seen how much it's starting to go in stores?
No, how much?
It was originally $130, and it started going for $240, $250
for the rye.
for the rye.
Because, the
Not
bourbon
even
goes
batch
for
seven.
more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's insane.
Yeah. So
And when you can get, Baby Saz in Kentucky, you can generally find it for 40, 35, 40.
I think my bottle was 30 or 35. So.
Yeah. And,
That's what it should be.
In New Orleans,
exactly.
we saw them for 25, and they were everywhere.
Jeez.
In New Orleans, they were like, "Take this stuff. We don't need it."
Yeah.
So Chad's drinking on the Baby Saz. Sarah, what are you sipping on? I almost caught you mid sip there.
It's okay. I have a Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond, which someone recently asked us, what is the one common thing or most overlooked thing about bourbon that people don't really talk about, and I said it's, I think, bottom shelf bourbons, or what people would call bottom shelf bourbons, because there's a lot of stuff out there that's really inexpensive that you would consider bottom shelf that's actually pretty tasty, and I think this is one of them.
Sorry, I was distracted by my sweet Sweet dog.
She is very sweet. I wish
She
she
is.
would come cuddle with me, but she won't.
You know what? I wish she would too, just so you can
It's
get the
okay.
full experience of.
Yeah, I need the full Marie experience. But nope, no puppy cuddles over here. So
And I'm drinking on Weller Antique 107, which is one of my favorites. I definitely prefer it over the Special Reserve.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I try not to get too attached to it because I can't find it.
it is tough. Yeah.
Yeah. I luckily have 2 handles of it.
Handles.
Handles.
Wow.
Yeah.
One's
I think I've
5.
got one.
Yeah.
I have one handle, I think maybe, and one
Yeah.
of the. I have a small like a liquor barn pick, which is
Right.
they're hit or miss.
Yeah. But this was from. I mean, I've had these from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was the old bottle.
Yeah. It's definitely
mine
a
are.
bottle.
Speaking of misses on liquor barn picks, not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before, and I'm gonna do a little bonus episode about waiting in line for bourbon too that will go up. I don't know when, just yet. But anyway, I waited in line for Chad for birthday bourbon.
You waiting in line for Chad?
I did. Yes.
You know, there's no line for me. I mean, not right now.
Well, as the official Raj of the.
oh,
it's
come
bourbon.
on! Don't bring that up.
Yeah.
I rescinded that.
I know you
Yeah,
did. I can't-
it's completely inaccurate. Not
I can't help but give you a little bit of crap for it, though.
Perry and I called.
You were talking in
How I Met Your Mother.
and I can't relate to that
Because-
I don't watch that show.
Because Chad is Ted, and
I'm not Ted.
Perry and I were discussing how Chad is Ted, and
I'm not
and
Ted.
Chad doesn't watch How I Met Your Mother. So then he was like, "I'll show you. I'll compare
show
you to a
you."
show I'm familiar with. You're Raj from The Big Bang
You're
Theory."
Raj.
And Perry
because
is
you were
And I got sad.
well somehow third wheeling came up, like the third wheel in a situation, and I'm like, well, who's the third wheel on Big Bang? Well, Raj.
Raj is absolutely the third wheel on.
That's all I meant.
I know. But I am gonna
Stings.
bring it up every once in a while.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
just so geez.
Gotta get
Right.
Oh, jeez.
Oh jeez.
jeez.
Oh jeez, Rick.
Anyway, so I was waiting in line for the Old Forester birthday bourbon for Chad when they were in Chicago, and came up short by about 5 people, unfortunately.
that's the
But
worst.
I
That burns.
managed to snag their most recent store pick of Weller Antique, and let me say, it was bad.
Oh.
It was real bad.
That-
no flavor.
Yeah, that
all
chain
burn.
is hit or miss on their picks.
Yeah, and they came out with I think 3 other picks that day too. It was the 1792 Full Proof, Buffalo Trace pick, and Blanton's. And I hadn't had the 1792 pick until yesterday, which I thought was really, really good. We all 3 tried it and thought it was real good. But the night that I got him, I cracked open the Blanton's and the Buffalo Trace, and I was like, this is phenomenal.
Oh,
Yeah?
okay.
You liked
I
it?
really like those.
Yeah.
Those 2.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan of Blanton's anyway.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I mean, not that I don't love Weller Antique, but the right person was trying the the Blantons and the Buffalo Trace.
Right. Well, I've heard it's just
It's one person.
one guy, and I'm like, do you need a team? Because we will assemble.
Yes.
Yeah, really.
I would love-
team
Pull from the.
assemble.
I would
Yeah.
really love to be a part of that group that goes. I mean, they pick so much and so often.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't do it all by yourself, and you need more people to bounce. Like, you need a sounding board. Like, you're like, this is kind of funky and weird and out of the box. Is this something that I can sell a lot of, or do I just like it?
And is it one of those things too where you're selling based solely on the label? Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of that is that
Yeah.
too. People are like, well, I can't find Weller 107, but their liquor barn has a pick, so I'm going to grab one of those, or whatever store has a pick. So.
That being said,
Yeah.
the 107 was gone immediately. I mean, it was the Blantons, the Old Forester, and the Weller Antique that was the first ones, or that were the first ones that were
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
of course, people are looking at it and going, I have to get these.
Yeah, gotta snag that.
It's a shame. It's a shame that it turned out to be so bad, but highly recommend Weller Antique as it is.
Yeah.
In the bottle. So anything we're gonna
Really?
And what-
Yes.
Tell me more
yes,
about
I would
that.
be happy to
Interesting.
screw my words up a little bit more.
I've never thought about it that way.
Anyway, we're gonna dive right into the meat of the show. or the exciting part of it. Now that we've, no, sorry, reading a text from my wife.
Yeah, part of the
those-
show.
Now that we've gotten,
those-
no,
we cannot
read off my
cannot
text
ignore
messages.
those. That is not allowed.
Anyway, so one of the ways that I kind of like to get things going on the show, or that I would like to, and we've had this conversation before on our very first bourbon night, when we all first met.
Our
Aside
very
from
first
what,
bourbon night.
I met Chad at Comic-Con in Lexington back in March, and I think what happened after that was, I had been watching their videos on YouTube, and then like shortly after I met Chad, they put one review up where they said, "Invite us to your bourbon nights."
Yeah.
Right.
And I reached out and I was like, "Hey, I know Chad now. Would you guys like to come to our bourbon night that we're having?" And it was at a friend's house in Lexington, and they were happy to come and do that. And we had some of the worst bourbon we've ever
Yeah,
had
we
that
did.
night, in that Blanton's from 92 or 93.
Woo,
or
yeah.
whatever. That
And it
was-
had been open
Open
for a really long
Oh,
time.
92 or
long
93.
time.
Yeah, it had
Yes.
gone bad. They say in the I don't know. I'm just thinking of a quote. I'm sorry. It's a misquote.
I'm not cutting that out. by the
From-
way.
Don't worry about it. It's like some movie where he drinks. He's like, the beer's gone bad. It's
Oh,
gone bad.
that's Can't Hardly Wait.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, that's right. That's
Yeah,
what
it tastes good to me.
Yeah, it tastes fine to me.
Yeah.
So he just doesn't drink beer. Anyways, no, it was
Anyway,
really
so
bad. My
so
bad.
that first night that we all hung out, I asked Chad and Sarah, "Why did you start drinking bourbon, or what was your kind of origins with bourbon?" So I want to pose that question again, so that we can actually put it down on wax.
For posterity.
Yes,
Yes. Oh, this is available on record?
it is.
On record.
Listeners of the show know that we are interested in putting this out via vinyl.
Awesome.
Anyway,
It'll
so
sound better.
yeah,
I sound better on
audiophiles
vinyl.
unite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, whoever wants to go first, may. But
You
why?
go.
for it.
No,
Yeah.
No,
you go
you
first.
go for it.
No, you.
No,
put-
no. The rest of the podcast is going to be us just doing this.
No, you
go.
do it.
No, you.
You do it.
No, you hang up first. Okay, fine. Why did I start drinking bourbon?
Yes, and just kind of what attracted you to bourbon more so than other alcoholic beverages, spirits, what have you.
Well, let me set the stage first. The year was I don't remember.
Don't date yourself.
Yeah, seriously.
It was a while ago, though. Let's be honest. And I was drinking the same kind of stuff that other people in college were also drinking. So I was drinking Jägermeister, and I was drinking vanilla vodka and Coke, and it gets worse. This thing called liquid cocaine, which was 1/4 Goldschlager, 1/4 Rumpelminz, 1/4 151, I want to say, and then the last was sweet and sour.
That's disgusting.
It wasn't good.
And 100% hangover.
Yes.
Yeah, and you died of alcohol poisoning when?
No.
And you've come back.
Thank you, Ghost
Well,
of Chad,
yeah.
for being on
You
the
know
show.
how everyone says, "Oh, I can't drink X anymore because I had a bad experience in college." Well, I don't have any particular liquor, but I can't drink that shot. Like if I smelled that shot anymore,
You didn't catch
would
that
be
fly, by the way.
It's
still-
a gnat. It's a gnat.
I thought it flew into your mouth. Honestly, no, it wants to.
Protein.
Good source of protein.
Yeah, exactly. So I was drinking that kind of stuff, but I don't know, I just felt unfulfilled. Like there was something else out there in the world. And my best friend at the time, still a real good friend, though he has moved out of the state, my friend Bob, we're both like, we're from Kentucky, we're in Kentucky, we should really drink bourbon. We knew that it's kind of uniquely Kentucky. And so we're just like, let's start experimenting more and drinking more bourbon. So that's when the bourbon nights started and so forth. But back then, I remember buying a 20-ounce Coke, drinking 1/4 of it down, maybe even half of it down, and then filling it with Evan Williams Black Label, and then walking around campus.
Sarah raises her hand.
Yes, same.
Yeah.
Exact same story.
Same Z's.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah, so, it
Some of us
started
are still there.
out with the bourbon and Coke, and then when we started doing bourbon nights, the whole thing was, how does it taste on the rocks? How does it taste by itself? Well, really, how does it taste on the rocks? How does it taste with Coke? Because we were still in that phase of our development. So then we'd say, oh, this one tastes better with Coke, but not as good on the rocks. But this one tastes better on the rocks, but not as good with Coke, and da-da-da-da-da. So it was really just a pride for Kentucky that we wanted to start drinking bourbon. And also, it's kind of like, back then, and even still today, you just felt a little bit more sophisticated when you're drinking bourbon. Like, you drink vodka, you drink tequila, you drink rum. I don't know what you feel. But you drink bourbon, and you just feel a little bit classier. So that's why I started. I wanted to buy an ascot and wear that when I was drinking bourbon.
But that's reserved for Fred Minnick now. So.
I was going to say, don't be sassy, Chad.
But no, back then that wasn't a reference to anything.
No.
That's how I felt. So that's why I started drinking. Why did you start drinking bourbon, Sarah?
Well, actually, my story is pretty similar. Why did you have to do that while I was taking a sip of water?
Because I knew you were going to take a sip of water.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew you were thinking that. Yeah, really similar. I was, early 20s, had been drinking vodka and cranberry or...
Gross.
I know, it is
vodka
gross.
Crayons.
Vodka cran,
They all love
vodka,
vodka
anything.
V-cran is
Rose,
I called it.
white Zen. That was my go-to wine. I was like, I'm going to get into good wine. I'm going to have a $7 Pinot Grigio, and that's classy. No, and then after
Bottle
that...
or glass?
Bottle.
Okay. Yeah, that is classic.
Yeah. So I started getting into, I started hanging out with a bunch more people. We would go to Keeneland in Kentucky. I don't know where you are, but that's a horse racing track and, parties and stuff. And some people were, everyone was drinking bourbon. And every time I would travel, people would be like, oh, you're from Kentucky. You must love bourbon. And I was like, oh, I don't really know a lot about that. And I was like, you know what? It is time that I started drinking some bourbon because it was always around at parties. And I was like, I'm going to drink what everyone else is going to drink, and I'm going to like it. So, started with, actually, my first bourbon was Knob Creek.
Wow.
My first bourbon was Knob Creek, and I did not like it.
Jeez.
I was not pleased. I did not like it. I was unhappy.
I can't remember what my first bourbon was.
I think mine was Makers.
Yeah.
And I was... my dad is a big Makers drinker, so... I was like, whatever's around him, try it. Because my dad likes it, I'm definitely going to like it.
And I'm shocked because, my family growing up, all my aunts always drank Makers, and it was around every holiday. But I never was tempted to get into it because bourbon was just you knew you were going to be in trouble if you got into that. But vodka is a different story. It somehow seemed like it was more acceptable. I don't know. So anyway, I had my Knob Creek. Oh, do you have something to say?
Just real quick.
Oh, just
I don't want to interrupt.
Chad made a face.
I don't want to interrupt.
He had a,
No.
I have a thought face.
No, you jogged my memory. My first bourbon was Maker's Mark, and that's because my mom kept a bottle on the top shelf for cooking.
Interesting.
So she would cook with bourbon.
Interesting.
And so this bottle lasted probably 5 to 7 years before it was gone. So a friend came over in high school, and we snuck a little bit of Maker's Mark out of that bottle. So that was my first taste of bourbon. I don't remember what my first bottle was, but okay, continue.
Okay, so, anyways, where was I?
I'll just have to start over.
Let me start over. My first bourbon ever was Knob Creek, and I was what was around, and I was, with a friend, and I was like, hey, can I try some of that? I'm trying to get into bourbon. Yeah, here you go. Here's some Knob Creek. Neat. Neat. Not a good way to intro someone into bourbon. So then I was like, okay, back up, rewind. We need to slow this down. So what became my drink of choice was Evan Williams and Coke. And I drank Evan Williams and Coke for a year, and that was my thing. And then I switched to Sprite. Or was it ginger ale? I think it was ginger ale. Then I was like, I became really obsessed with ginger ale for some reason. And so then I was like, oh, I love bourbon and ginger.
But you don't like L8.
I don't like L8. It's disgusting.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry.
Huh.
I'm not a true Kentuckian because I don't
that's
like
okay.
L8.
That's okay.
Anyways, and then it was one of those things where I decided one day I needed to lose weight, so I was like, I'm going to stop drinking soda. And that means I got to cut it out of my mixers. So I got to get used to bourbon and water. And eventually I trained myself to be used to bourbon and water. And then it was like just on the rocks. And then I met Chad. And then it was like, you better learn to drink this stuff straight.
You weren't drinking it straight?
A little. I was, but not the higher proof stuff.
I didn't know. I didn't know this.
He didn't know.
This is an exclusive here on the This is my bourbon podcast.
I didn't really start drinking it straight until I started hanging out with you.
Really?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I had it straight, but I would usually put ice in it. Always.
Wow.
Truth bomb.
Revelations.
Dropping on the podcast.
Revelations on This Is My Bourbon podcast.
I wish you could see his face right now. It's like I just told him. I don't know.
I got a face for video because I am shocked right now. Really?
Yeah.
I taught her everything I know.
Oh, he's so proud.
And they've been together ever since.
Yeah, no.
Not
quite.
A year and a half later.
Yeah, go watch the 5,000 subscribers video on It's Bourbon Night.
And watch it to the end.
It's funny because, like, after we met on a video shoot for an old company I worked for, it was actually a bourbon bar, which is strange because, like, another way that bourbon brought us together. Like, a couple weeks afterwards, he asked me to go for tacos and bourbon, and so we did. And we, we're drinking bourbon and whatever, and had a really great time, but I was like, no. Let's just be friends. I'm trying to get this job at the same place where he worked, and I was like, I don't want that to color people's decisions of me or whatever.
He didn't ask this question.
He didn't. But then, like a year and a half later,
we
went on a second date.
Finally had that second date after I was turned down twice.
But that leads into kind of what was going to be my next question was, what were the origins of It's Bourbon Night?
Okay.
But before we get there, though, as we were in the middle of
that intriguing story for
me,
riveting.
We poured a glass, not one glass. We each got a glass.
We poured one glass and we're all just lapping out of it like dogs.
And like it's the communion bourbon of Old Pogue. Is it the
Master's Select?
Yeah.
It's a 91 proof Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey.
Now, Old Pogue used to be, according to local lore, a lot better than it is now.
Local lore.
I believe that. I mean, I like it. It's got this flavor note that I need help putting my finger on.
So my first sip of it, that's why I made a face at Perry, and he kind of looked at me like, "You don't like it?" And I'm like, "Well, it's just." It was
a mean one.
It was just. There's
awful.
something about it that kind of threw me off. It's not like Chad said. You just you can't put your finger on it really. So I'm gonna need a second to determine what that is.
Sure.
I'll tell you what it is. Well, I don't know what it is, but I'll tell you what I said
Chad.
this just recently, and I can't remember what it was about, but I said and I'm actually kind of modifying what I said, but it's about a month away from tasting like it's chemically. But it's not.
We were talking about that yesterday with the Old Rippy.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Or was it the Old Rippy or the Yellowstone?
It was...
I think it was the Old Rippy.
Yeah.
It's like, it's got that hint of it could taste chemically, but it doesn't. But if you gave it like a month or two out in the open, it would.
Sure.
But it doesn't. And if you haven't had that chemically taste, you probably wouldn't even pick up on that.
Right.
But we've had some bourbons that it's like, oh, this tastes like chemicals. Like, I don't know, it's been run through a plastic bag. Like, filtered through a plastic
something like
bag
that,
or something.
yeah.
So it's got that hint, but
Like
that's not to say that I don't enjoy it. I do like it.
Actually, the more I sip it, the more I enjoy it.
Yeah, no, I do enjoy it,
Yeah.
but it's got that... It's also what I would have referred to before as antique tasting.
Well, in terms of like the musty quality to it,
I think
like
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It
don't
tastes
well, it has
antique.
I got this bottle secondhand. It had already been opened.
know.
So, yeah, good.
So it very well could have.
And it's
had a
been
little
drunk
too-
down halfway to the bottle. So, who knows, how much air has gotten in there.
Sure.
I don't know, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I quite like it. I could see it being on par with kind of an everyday sipper.
Yeah.
Because it's not overpowering one way or another. It's just a very simple bourbon
For being
to drink.
only 91 proof, it's pretty warm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Am I the
Agreed.
only one that's getting that?
No,
that-
totally,
not at all.
totally. I had to double check.
Yeah,
proof. I was
yeah,
like,
it's
really?
very,
Just
it's really
91 proof?
warming my chest. I would.
I mean, I've definitely gotten more used to it now that I've been drinking
Yeah.
it. And don't get me wrong, I do enjoy it, but
Yeah.
it's got
It has a certain
those
something.
leanings.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Well, I am interested as to what it tasted like when it was first opened.
Yeah,
That's why we do uncorkings.
that is
Yeah.
why we do uncorking. But then some people fuss at us and they say, "Why didn't you wait a month after you opened it and come back to it?" And I'm like, "All right,
All right.
I'll drink more.
We'll
I'm
do
sorry."
Because some things do benefit from time to breathe.
As we've discovered recently.
Correct.
I'm still not entirely proud of the Statesman winning in a blind flight.
You did it.
Because that was
but
mean.
It was mean. Wasn't it mean? Yeah. Now you know how I really am, Perry. This is me. I'm
She's-
not a nice person.
She's not sweet.
So we had a bourbon night at Chad's house sometime last month or the month before or something like that.
Recently.
And we decided that we were going to do a couple of blind flights in which Sarah put Old Forester Statesman up against, I can't even remember
It was Johnny Drum. It was
Elijah Craig Barrel Proof.
no. Yes.
Yeah.
It was because that's what I picked.
Mhm.
Rightfully so. I mean, I won. Let's face it.
Oh, you definitely won. I'm not even going to deny that.
See,
I am not going to deny
I
that.
can't remember what the fourth one was.
I can't either.
Yeah, but
Whatever came in last, I was like, this is appropriately last. I feel like, even though the Statesman should have been last based on our uncorking.
well, I don't think I put it last either.
I think you put it third.
I think I did put it third.
Yeah.
The Elijah Craig Barrel Proof was a clear and present winner, not danger. A clear and present winner, and I think Johnny Drum might have been second.
Have you
Can't
had
remember.
Have you had the newest release yet?
Of-
The Barrel Proof?
No, I have a bottle, but we've been so tied up with everything else, so we haven't uncorked it yet.
Oh, so you're saving it for the uncorking?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, okay.
We save
I was gonna say I
we
have some
save
if you want to
everything.
try
Well,
it.
no, I would definitely try it. But the thing about having the YouTube channel now is we never just open something and pour it and drink it now. It's always let's save it to uncork it on camera,
Yeah.
which is kind of it's just kind of it's the one drawback of of having the YouTube channel is we don't just pop something open unless we've had it before.
Sure. Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
But if we buy a special, you come across something special and we're like, oh my gosh, we're so excited to open this. We can't open it today because we have to wait and film it.
I am currently in the same boat.
Yeah.
As something sits atop my shelf that
Want to
that is
open.
glaring at me, and that'll be for a future episode. But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna spoil anything. Anyway, so I ran and got that. The dog. I ran and got the barrel proof for Sarah and Chad to try.
And this is 124.2 proof, so this is really hovering around my sweet spot, guys.
Yeah.
North of 100, always. I'm loving that stuff.
Yeah.
110 to 125 is just a magical spot for me.
And for comparison's sake, I brought out the Elijah Craig Barrel Select, which you can only get at the Heaven Hill gift shop.
Lovingly known as the Grenade.
The grenade.
Which is a wonderful little pour of bourbon. I actually put some of it in my infinity bottle
Oh, nice.
because I liked it.
Infinity bottle. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I think I know
Yeah.
a little bit about this.
So
Or you told me one night when we were eating pizza, and at that point I
I
remember.
think I did too. Yeah. We've talked about this on the show a little bit before, and I'm going to try to do a whole episode on just the infinity bottle or the whole kind of thing about it. But what it is you take an empty bottle and you fill it with your last ounce or two of whatever's sitting around. So if you get to the bottom of your Henry McKenna bottle and bond, and you've got a couple ounces left, you just dump it in. And then what was really appealing about it to me is that it's not just like a visual history of what I've been drinking and the steps that I've taken as a bourbon drinker, And I record everything too. I've got everything written down of
That's
what each proof was. If it's age stated, I throw the age on there too. And just so I know visually or like in writing what it is.
Now, are you measuring out so you know it's like an ounce and a half or whatever?
I use a jigger every time that I dump it in. So everything except for like the first pour was like an ounce. Chad's struggling with the.
I'm getting
the barrel
nothing.
proof. Really?
Nothing on this nose.
Wow. Do you want to try it in a Glencairn?
No.
Oh.
Sure.
No. Yeah. No.
It smells like cinnamon
Because
rolls to me.
I've been getting noses in this same rocks glass off these other bourbons, and this one is just giving me no nose.
I think it
just didn't
smells
know
like cinnamon rolls.
I didn't know if you wanted anything a little bit more concentrated.
I just smell the alcohol, but it's not that.
I hope I'm not
strong of
ruining.
alcohol.
I hope I'm not ruining this uncorking in the future whenever that happens. I'm gonna pour a little bit too for myself here in a second.
Oh, but it's got the flavor.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
Whoa. On the tongue. Oh,
It's been open for a little while.
this might be, I'm going to need to drink a little bit more of this, but this might be one of my new favorite things of this year.
Wow.
And Matt is
Two
saying
exclusives
something.
on the podcast.
Wow.
Jeez, folks.
That'd be a good end of year video for you guys. Is like, what were your
Oh, sure.
favorite?
I think that's what we want to do.
Sure.
Is
Yeah.
like release it on
And I think
New Year's maybe.
I've accumulated enough
Christmas.
Elijah Craig barrel proofs to have a flight fight of them.
Oh, nice.
My highest proof is 139.4. And I have some others.
I think I had the 139. When it was that was the one that was still in the old style bottle, right? Yeah.
I enjoy that.
This-
I uncorked that with Ming Chen of Comic Book Man.
Oh, that's
actually.
right. That's right. Yeah, I remember that video.
Yeah. So but
Dang. This is so good. It's like it's like it's so smooth and silky.
Especially
And
for 124
even for the proof.
Oh,
Yes,
my
for the
goodness.
proof. It still has like a sweetness to it. It has like on the taste, like I get like a little bit of like milk chocolate.
I'd get in a lot
Dark.
of trouble
Dark milk chocolate.
like drinking this after
Is it dark chocolate or milk chocolate?
dark milk.
Dark
chocolate.
milk chocolate.
There's no such thing.
There is in my mouth. It's a dark coca. Is what it is.
I have the tongue punch, Chad.
No tongue punch. It has the Kentucky hug though.
Doesn't want
It does have the Kentucky HUD very
Yes.
much.
Yeah.
Did I say HUD?
Hi, Mom.
I did. Kentucky,
Kentucky
HUD.
HUD.
Kentucky HUD. Yes.
What does HUD stand for? A helmet under.
I don't know what this means. I don't know what you're talking about.
You know, like
I
Iron
don't
Man when he's
Yeah,
got all this
right.
stuff in his
Sorry.
It's okay.
view. That's a
The
HUD.
dog hates me.
Dog refuses to hang out with Sarah for whatever
Doggo?
reason. I don't know why. It
She's
must be because
doggo?
you smell like
She's a pupper.
Pupper.
she's pupper. Oh yeah.
100%.
She's
a
not
pupper.
she's not even 8 months old yet.
She's just a pupper.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
She'll become
She's
a
a sweet
doggo.
girl. Mm-hmm. Yeah, your daddy's girl, aren't you?
And that's why people tune into the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah,
this is
so we
why.
can- they
Your
can hear me.
daddy's gone.
You should get a puppy dog. Yes, you are.
I wish you could see the look on this dog's face as Chad's saying this. Like, she's,
puppy?
all right. She is so intrigued by this voice.
Her tail's a wagon.
Her tail's wagging and her head is like 90
Like the
degrees
phone's ringing.
sideways.
She's just, huh?
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 All right, back to the bourbon.
So anyway, you guys approve of the
Yo,
barrel proof by far. Yeah.
Can do.
We're full of references. I don't know if you know that about us. That is delicious.
Full of them.
That is so funny.
That is so,
That's so
that's
funny.
so funny.
Look at
Harry.
that giant pancake.
That's so
Pancake.
funny.
That is
so
so
big.
funny. Well, anyway, as I said, I brought in the Barrel Select for comparison. If you're interested, I know that you also have to drive back home.
Right.
So
Yeah, we're
if
just
you
sipping.
if you want to save until our actual review at the end of the show, feel free to. But
I could have a sip.
a dash.
A dash.
I'll let
dash
him
me.
have the dash. I remember having it before. You know what? Maybe I should have a dash too. Because I can't remember how I felt about it.
I'll just pour 2 dashes in this one and we can share.
Sure, that sounds good.
Okay.
We had it at our very first bourbon night, and I just can't remember how I felt about it
did.
because it was like number 4 or 5.
Give me that grenade. Where's that grenade?
Oh, it's right behind the James
hiding
Pepper
behind
there. Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
You know what I love about this Jamesy Pepper bottle is that it looks like bottle for pirates.
And spoilers for the rest of the episode: the James E. Pepper 1776 is what we're going to be reviewing at the end of the.
It's a
the end of the
screw
show.
off.
It is a screw off.
It makes me feel like a pirate when I'm drinking it.
Oh, I'm sure it does. It looks like the rum bottles in Pirates of the Caribbean.
It does,
I mean,
very much so, yeah.
by far.
So one for me, one for you.
Yeah, sounds good.
So as Chad is pouring the side note, you see that car that y'all parked next to?
Sure.
That has been here for like a month,
Wow.
Wow.
and nobody has claimed it. It's got a bike in the back
It's
seat.
yours.
No, it's the city's because I'm about to call the towing company.
Yeah, no, seriously. A month, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least
Wow.
a month. Anyway, so Chad just poured the Barrel Select.
It's got more nose
It does.
than the barrel.
I'm
proof.
interested to see what you get on the palate.
And it's actually higher proof than the barrel proof.
Barely, but yes.
Let me nose it. Jeez. I don't think so. I think I smelled more with the barrel proof.
Wrong.
No. You're such a jerk.
Sad.
Fake news.
Fake news.
Wow.
We don't talk politics on
No,
the
we don't.
podcast.
Oh. You know what? I would love to do those blind.
I think that's
I think-
a
yeah.
smart plan. You have them.
You know what we'll do?
Yeah.
Is next time that you guys come on the show, we'll do a blind with the Barrel Proof, the Select, and just the regular Elijah Craig.
It is good. It's hotter. It's hotter and it burns more than the barrel proof. But, both delicious. So I think we should blind them someday.
Maybe
Yeah.
a little bit drier.
I agree. I think that the Select has a little bit more earthier flavors to it.
Mm-hmm.
It especially like grassiness,
Yeah. Yeah.
but grass
I
tastes
gotcha.
bad.
Yeah. Now the cool thing about, for those who are whining about taking the age, the Big Red 12 off the Elijah Craig, is that the barrel proof is still 12 years old.
Yes, it is.
It doesn't say on the bottle anymore, but
Yeah,
it's
it
still
does.
12 years old.
It's on the side.
Is it?
It is.
It's on the side.
Other side.
Ah, there it is.
12 years old.
12 years
Chill
old.
filtered.
Yeah.
I drink corrected.
I drink corrected.
I'm not standing.
You sit down on my couch corrected.
Corrected.
Sit down on your couch corrected. Yeah, still 12 years old, so
Yeah.
that's cool.
And who knows how old the Barrel Select is?
Not age stated.
I would guess anywhere from 8 to 12.
I would think so.
It would
It's probably around that 9
it would
to
only
10.
make sense.
No age, so it's at least 4, but it's, probably more.
I'd be real surprised
I'd
if
be
it
surprised
were a
if it's
4-year-old.
Yes,
No.
shocked. No, it can't be.
Yeah, probably around the 9 to 10.
Yep.
Heaven Hill, if you're listening,
Tell us.
make Sarah your brand ambassador.
Seriously. I don't think I've had anything from there that I've been like, nope, would not drink. So.
We for the past couple months, I have not been a fan of Larceny,
Right.
which is a Heaven Hill product. And last night, after having the same discussion with Chad and Sarah, that I was still like, I decided to revisit it.
Ooh. And you still don't like it?
No, I do.
You do?
I do. I don't know what weird phase my palate was going through.
I do that sometimes
But
too, though.
I had it last night, and dog, you all right?
She's just.
Oh, she's just getting her toys out.
Yeah.
Okay. Where's your toy? She knows that word. She's real good about taking one of her toys and dropping it in the thing.
Yeah. She
And-
clean up after herself.
Yeah, she does. It's
That's-
really
that's
weird.
kinda
But
cute.
but the thing is, like, she'll drop one in and she'll go get another one.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Anyway, where were we? Oh, so
Larceny.
I revisited Larceny last night, and I definitely like it better than I have
Good.
recently. I don't know what was going on, but
You're just going through a phase.
it's not a phase, Chad. No, it was definitely a phase. It was most certainly a phase.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am happy to see that come back.
And this was
in.
the same bottle?
Same bottle.
Okay. Then it must have been a phase.
So
Yeah.
it really was something going on with my palate.
I did something similar not too long ago with, I think, Buffalo Trace. I was just like, fell out of love with it. It was one of my go-tos, and for a long, maybe like a couple of months, I was like, I don't want to drink that. And then I was like, when I went back to it, I was like, what was my problem? Like, this is good. What am I talking about?
That's an interesting conversation to have
Just get used to some
about bourbon.
things.
Is that like you drink it too much?
Yeah. You get burnt out on it.
Yeah, exactly. So
Currently, I'm in love with Turkey 101.
Yeah, we both.
you have been for a bit.
Yeah.
I don't.
But
see
like
falling out
now
of love
more
with
than
that.
ever. Yeah.
Now more than ever.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, good.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try to get things back on track. I don't know if that's gonna happen. or
Yeah.
not.
Let's give it a shot.
What were I said this earlier. What were kind of the origins of the show?
I was trying to get Sarah drunk, and I'm only halfway kidding.
That may or may not be true.
No, she had.
This is my Bourbon Podcast exclusive number 3
yeah.
of the episode.
No, she had friend zoned me. Whatever. We all know now how that story ends, so I was obviously the smarter one.
Whatever.
Yeah, but
I gotta say the thing with the Woodford was a little awkward.
It was awkward.
Completely.
I had no
But-
idea what was going on. I was like, what are we doing?
Because like I was watching, I was like, oh, she doesn't. know
Can
what's
you
about to
watch my
happen.
face?
Yes.
Like, look at this Woodford
She
bottle. I'm
said,
like,
"What are you
Chad
doing?"
doesn't like
Like, behind
Woodford.
the bottle,
Why
she
is this
said,
bottle
"What are
here?
you doing?" And I was just like, "Come here."
Just kiss me, woman.
Yeah, jeez.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. One of my best friends, Michelle, had recently moved to Chicago, and she was one of my big bourbon drinking buddies. So I was like, well, Sarah, you come over and start drinking bourbon with me, damn it. And, come over and start drinking neat, apparently. So I was just like, hey, you drink bourbon, I drink bourbon, come over to the house, we'll have a bourbon night. Let me show you what this, bourbon night thing's all about. So she did, and we just started drinking bourbon, and we would actually write down. We actually kind of developed like a system out of 5 points, like the value.
Oh yeah, I remember
the
this.
taste, the finish.
Which you don't stand by now.
No,
Apparently.
it's too hard to score. I mean, it takes too long.
Yeah, it takes too long. But we were writing them down, and we did maybe 2 or 3 bourbon nights.
Best bourbon ever, worst bourbon ever.
Yeah,
No
Yeah.
in between.
like that. Readily, like the available.
Oh yeah, we had a
and-
5 category score, and each one got a 1 to 5.
Yeah.
So it's, like value, taste, nose, finish, and
Readily available.
readily available. Yeah.
Yeah, and
And that was everything that you guys went with your 50 under 25 too, right? Like all the everything.
well,
Like that. I mean,
it was a little bit
That's kind of
different.
like your qualifiers
Kind of.
for
Yeah.
your brackets.
Yeah, we did a little bit different for that one, but a lot of those carried over. Yeah.
Sure.
So we did 2 or 3 bourbon nights, and I was like, I'd always wanted to do a YouTube show. You basically take the bourbon night experience and just film it and make it a show on YouTube. And she was like, I'm down. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So our first episode was like, okay, let's take 50 bourbons under $25.
Yeah, let's just
and
do
find
it.
out, because March was coming around, and of course March Madness. And we're like, yeah,
Let's do a bracket
let's do
style.
a bracket, and we'll release it around March Madness. Of course, that didn't happen. It was
No.
more like May.
It took, drinking 50 bourbons and putting them in brackets and scoring them and stuff, it takes a lot longer than you think.
I gotta be real honest. The first time I watched that first episode, I was like, did I miss 25 episodes or something?
Yeah.
I
That
thought
was
for
our
sure
first episode.
I thought for sure that I had missed a
Yeah.
wide range.
I mean,
of
it would have been great to have
Released
done
all
a
those.
flight, released it, but we just didn't have that time.
It's sure.
We needed to do 2
You're
or
adults.
3
You have
during a
jobs.
week.
You
Yeah.
have family.
Right, I couldn't edit all those and get them out timely enough. So we only filmed the 16th bracket, which is the last bracket.
Yeah, so we summarized every bracket before that, and then we did our final flight.
Yes.
And if you look closely, you can see the fear in my eyes from being on camera for the first time. I look absolutely terrified, and I don't know what to do with my hands.
There's a lot of different things about that very first episode. The
lighting's
different.
different.
We're different.
It was a lot more subtle lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna make it moody and dark, and it's gonna be.
It didn't work out.
It
no.
didn't. No.
But it's fun to look back at.
Yeah, and that is still our highest viewed episode ever. And if I was actually looking at the analytics the other day, and our 2 highest viewed episodes from the past 28 days was the 50 under 50 and the 50 under 25.
Wow.
That's
Still.
crazy. That's what people want to see, I guess.
Still. So we've been learning a lot as we go.
Yeah.
As far as what people want to see. We've listened to feedback. People are like, don't do your flight fights that way. Why don't you drink the same thing at the same time? And I mean, we're still adamant about.
But that's the beauty of the blind flight.
Yeah,
though.
we don't want to
We
have
can't drink the same-
confirmation bias.
Right. So
Yeah.
I don't want to say, I don't like this. It tastes like, too much char. And Chad'd be like, oh, you're right. It
you're
does.
right.
Yeah.
But maybe he would have liked it if I hadn't have said
This tastes
that.
like bananas. You're right.
It really
I taste
does
bananas
taste
too.
like bananas.
Sure.
So it's confusing a little. But
Well, our compromise was, okay, we'll put up as a lower third who's drinking what
yeah.
through all four.
But it took you a little bit to.
It did.
It did.
I didn't
To
want to
do that,
run
yeah.
the results. I didn't
Yeah.
want to run the reveal. But I'm like, well, the people have
The
spoken.
people have spoken and they want to know. And so
Yeah.
we adjust. We try to listen and do, but I think we've learned a lot in the past year and a half doing this.
For sure,
I mean,
for sure.
yeah, it's been
We
fun.
love to do the Q&As and answer these questions.
That's my favorite is when we get to do Q&As.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
The bar mat.
Yeah.
The bar
Bar
mat.
mat.
Collection of topics, that's right. And people were like, I can't watch this intro to the bar mat because you spill bourbon. So I don't know if anyone noticed, but on the latest, I said no bourbon was harmed during the filming
Oh,
of this
you
intro.
did? I
Yeah,
didn't
because I was
see
just
that.
tired of everyone saying, change your intro. I'm like, screw it. No actual bourbon was harmed during the making of this intro.
Well, what
I
was
thought
it?
that was hilarious personally, but
It could have been tea for all they know.
They don't know.
They don't know.
I
They don't know my life.
Y'all don't know me.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, but like, this might be a question that you're not prepared to answer, but do you guys hold on, let me back up. Do you guys see Bourbon Night carrying on for another year and a half, another 3 years?
I sure hope so.
Absolutely, because we've already got X number of things we've already filmed that are in the queue to be edited. We've got a list 20, 25 things long of things we want to do. Not just
Right.
uncorkings, but flight fights, episodes, topics, bar mat episodes,
Right.
cooking, cocktails.
Like we have ideas, we want to do things. It's just becomes a matter of time.
It's 3
balancing
years.
with your
Absolutely.
day job.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's 3 years worth of stuff.
Right.
Now,
I'm sure people would be really happy to hear that.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Eventually, you would think we would run out of things, but with the bourbon boom, as long as the bourbon boom keeps sustaining, there's going to be these other distilleries opening up. And, okay, now we need to try this, and now we need to try this. When we go out of state, we find out bourbons we didn't even know existed.
Right.
Sure.
We went to
Yeah.
Chicago, we found out about Koval, CH,
Yeah.
Few.
We already knew about Few, but, Few, which we haven't tried. You can go all these different places and try all these other
Texas is having
Texas
one of bourbons.
bourbon,
Yeah.
Colorado bourbon, New York bourbon, Pennsylvania bourbon, all this stuff that I just don't see an end of it. But if there is, then we could branch out to, okay,
Canadian whiskey.
let's try Canadian whiskey. Let's try to find a scotch that we like.
That is something that I actually want to do. Neither of us like scotch, but I don't want to say I'll never drink scotch until we go on a scotch tour, like in Scotland. Like
Sure.
I want to
Right.
go to the different regions and know the different, because there's differences between them, and I don't ever want to cross that off my list as no, I don't like it until I have that experience. And I think it would be funny to film that experience, even if you're
That'd be
having a bad
amazing.
time, because like even if you're having a bad time, you're in a beautiful place, right?
Sure.
Right.
So it would be fun to be like, this is the one I don't like. I hate the least.
Yeah.
And there's just beautiful landscape
Yeah,
shots
I don't
of,
like
Yeah.
it.
of the Highlands of Scotland in
Yeah.
the background.
We'll rate it on like a my face scale.
Yeah,
Like, this one's
Chad's
like
face scale. Yeah.
But this one's like which is the least offensive face.
Yeah, but I've heard it depends on the region. But,
Sure.
You can say I
And
don't
not
like.
not all
yeah.
scotches are peaty.
Yeah, and
da-da-da-da.
we don't like peaty scotch
do
for
not
sure.
like peaty.
So
Sure.
that's something I want to do in the future, like way down the road. I'd
Yeah.
like to do that. So.
But we actually kind of really like that we're just bourbon and rye, and we're not just Kentucky bourbon.
I like
We've
that too,
branched
personally.
out.
Yeah.
But
you did Texas bourbon
we
recently.
did Texas.
We've done Alabama.
Alabama, Tennessee.
Yep.
I think we've done.
We just got some samples from Louisiana.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah.
So,
We've got the baby bourbons. We'll do New York bourbon.
High West is Colorado.
Yep. We've got a Chicago bourbon, so we'll do Illinois. Yeah, we're all about it. But we love being bourbon and rye. You know?
Well, I like that too.
Cool.
I mean, what are you going to be after a while? You're going to be,
I guess
spirit night.
It's
Yeah.
whiskey night.
Spirit night, and you got cheerleaders that come out and
Yeah.
and like,
We got spirit. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We got spirit. How about you? But we feel like that'd be like 10 years down the road, honestly.
Yeah, that's a long
It'd be a
ways
long
off.
time.
And again,
Yeah.
there's always going to be new distilleries or new products coming from the existing distilleries. There's going to be stuff to do,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
events and things like that. So I don't see
Yeah.
any shortage of content.
No.
Good.
No.
Good. That's nice to hear.
Yeah.
So we are going to. That's about all I have in the Q&A section of the podcast.
Cool.
Okay.
So we are going to move on to the famed portion. It's not famed. We're like 5 or 10 episodes deep. I don't know.
locally
I don't know where this is going to go in the queue of episodes as of right now. Could be 3, could be 7. We're going to find out.
That's the way we do it, too.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to move on to the review portion of This Is My Bourbon podcast. Thank you all so much for sticking around this long. If you haven't,
Screw you.
see you next episode. Again. Yeah, screw you is right. Anyway, so Chad and or Sarah,
Yes.
tell us about what we have to review.
Okay, so we wanted to bring one from our 50 under 50. We wanted, if we bought a new bottle that was in that 50 under 50 that we had uncorked, we wanted to uncork it first. So we did a lot of uncorkings before we did our 50 under 50. And this was one of them. And it's James E. Pepper 1776 Bourbon. It's a straight bourbon whiskey. It's 100 proof. It's known on the bottle as Old Style. Now, I believe that this is a sourced whiskey. It's produced and bottled by Josh E. Pepper Company, Bardstown, Kentucky, but it's distilled in Indiana. Now, here's the interesting thing: is James E. Pepper used to be distilled in Lexington.
Oh, wow.
The Pepper campus on Manchester Street.
Where?
Manchester Street. And I hear tell that they're actually in works of bringing that back.
They are, yeah.
So
Interesting.
eventually, I think this will become a non-source bourbon, and
That'd be amazing.
It'll start being made here again, just like it was before Prohibition in Lexington, Kentucky. Well, not here. We're in Richmond, Kentucky right now, but
Yeah.
in Lexington,
Here in
About 30
Lexington,
minutes
where
south.
we live, yes.
where we live. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we thought this would be a cool one, and we kind of thought that you probably hadn't had it before.
I have not. No.
We hadn't had it
We
before
we
either.
figured you probably hadn't, so we
It's
wanted
one
to
of
bring
those
it.
where I've always looked at it on the shelf and I've
But you
gone,
never-
I'll get it eventually.
Exactly.
You know, but as long as there are old bottles of Elijah Craig,
Oh, hold on. Let me do that
Wait.
closer to the mic.
yeah.
Not bad,
There we
not
go.
bad.
That's going in the sound catalog. There. Excuse me, but it's always one of those that's kind of on the shelf that I'm going. I'll get around to it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. You know, if Knob Creek store picks on the shelf, I'm gonna go for that.
Right. Well, both. Yeah.
Yeah,
Give me
yeah.
all the glasses. Is what I'm trying to say.
All of them?
So
Without saying it.
in no words. So
Give me all your glasses.
we are switching up our glasses for this tasting. We are all going to be drinking out of the same style of glass. I don't even really. Is it still a rocks glass?
It is
It's a rocks glass.
glass.
Technically, yeah.
It's a different shape.
They
one.
are Four Roses labeled glasses. They're a little bit wider mouth than the rocks glasses, maybe by just a hair, but they're also narrower. Excuse me.
Narrower.
Narrower.
They're also narrower towards the bottom. They're also quite a bit narrower towards the bottom of the glass. Thank you, Chad.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Sorry, dog. She's getting sleepy.
Oh,
Um.
sleepy puppy.
She got into the bourbon.
Whoa. What are you drinking? You drinking my Van Winkle Lot B?
Better not be. Better not be.
She's giving me a look like, how'd you know?
Actually.
I find that these glasses for tasting provide a little bit better nose, and delivery to the palate than a rocks glass does. So I just wanted to make sure that we were all drinking out of the same glass.
Sure.
I think these specific glasses came out with Four Roses 125th anniversary. which was 4 years ago. I'm pretty sure. I'd have to go and check. I actually have a glass that says Four Roses 125th anniversary.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But I'm almost certain that it was from 2013.
1888, I think, was when they were formed.
So that would be 125, right?
Yeah. In
Was it 1888 or 1890?
1888.
Okay.
I'm not
I
good
wanna
at math,
say.
so
I can't do
I'm just
the
totally
math.
counting on you guys right now.
Someone was 1888.
Apologies
doesn't-
for coughing so much during this episode, but anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't have anything else to say. Just I'm bad at math, and I can't do that in my head.
So we have failed to, as we normally do.
That couldn't be right. Because 1988 would be 100 years.
100 years? What?
No, 1908. Wait.
1888
Okay, you guys are witnessing some
1988
terrible math
would
here
be
on the
100
podcast.
years.
Someone give me a calculator.
and then
1888 to 1988 is 100 years.
Okay,
years.
so here's
That's what
what
I
we're
said.
gonna do.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know for sure that 2013 for those of you
Okay.
who get angry.
Yeah.
with me.
So 2013 minus 1888.
Let's whoa. Let's do
Is-
minus 125 because I know for sure that those are 125th anniversary
Okay.
glasses.
Okay.
So Chad was right.
It's
Boom! Good news, everyone.
Oh,
was right.
awesome.
I'm not used to that at all.
Oh,
Wow.
shade thrown.
Wow. Yeah, that's some shade.
Anyway, so I have not had this bourbon in any capacity before. The dog is starting to love on Chad a little bit more.
I'm jealous.
I know Sarah's not happy about it. Maybe next time.
Why
that
won't
guys
you
come
love
over.
me?
And just as a side note, before we kind of dive into the review, I was real happy to talk to you guys this episode about the It's Bourbon Night channel.
Oh, thanks.
And I think what I would like to do next time that I have you all on is actually talk about doing a bourbon night.
Ooh, yeah.
Um,
I would love to talk about that.
yeah.
Because there's so many
'Cause-
different ways you could do it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what brought me to you guys.
what brought us together.
It's what brought us all together in the big community of bourbon.
Yes.
And this episode is kind of laying the groundwork for that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, dog, you are all over the place, aren't you?
She's pumped.
She's real happy that it's a bourbon afternoon. Hey.
Anywho,
Anyway,
Was that for me or the dog?
that was,
that
for
was
the
mostly
dog.
for you.
No, that was for the dog. Aw.
That's pretty
Oh,
sweet.
no. Oh, Sarah, I'm sorry.
I'm very jealous right now. She's like palming him and kissing him, and
Aw.
I just, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. I didn't want it anyways.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. So
Anyway,
next
so
time we
next,
want to talk
next
about
time,
that.
next time that we have you guys on, we'll talk about starting your bourbon night trend, or getting a group of people together for
Yeah.
bourbon night, and how that works out to be an enjoyable experience and unique and all that good stuff. So anyway, let's move on to our little review here of James E. Pepper 1776 Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, shall we?
Do it.
Let's do
So
it.
as I said, I've never smelled or tasted this before, so let's find out. Ooh,
It's got a solid nose. I mean,
it
there's
does.
definitely
I
something
think
there.
you must have remembered disliking it more than I did, because I remember drinking this and being like, it's fine.
No, I did too.
It smells like this. This is a very.
It's kind of sweet.
It is, but this is gonna sound a little strange. I want to confirm this.
Bubblegum.
Yes, bubblegum, but also kind of like a grilled steak.
Ooh.
Interesting.
So I don't know where this is going to take me in terms of flavor profile, but wow, I really like the nose. I mean, I'm by no means saying that this was something that I
It's got a
disliked,
good nose.
but
Let's find out.
yeah, shall we?
Yep.
So
Cheers.
oh,
Yeah.
we never did this earlier. I forgot because we were jumping into it, but as we like to do on the show, cheers.
Oh, cheers.
Cheers. All right, here we go. Well, it doesn't drink like 100 proof. I'll tell you that.
Oh
Certainly
my.
does not. No.
It is a loss. I would say 86 proof.
I was going to say about
I
85.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Wow.
bourbon's 85? Come on, Perry. You know it's 86.
Was Jim Beam Choice 85 or was that 80?
It was. I want to say it's 80 still, but 5 years.
Have you ever been on Masters of Malt?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Do you know you can order samples
Really?
from them?
In Kentucky?
Well, you can't get it shipped in Kentucky.
Oh, can you not?
No.
No.
Oh, well,
because
that's
our
a shame.
Laws
We have
are
dry
weird.
counties.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to have it shipped to Tennessee and then
Yeah.
shipped again to me.
Seriously, I'm like, I need a P.O. box in Cincinnati.
Tennessee, I don't think you can either. Their whole state by default is dry. It's others that aren't, but I think you have to go to like South Carolina.
Well, never mind.
Never mind that.
Anyway, I like this quite a bit. It's not my favorite thing I've ever had,
It's solid though.
but it is absolutely solid. Bye, dog.
Hi, dog.
Man, that's not
that.
bad by any means.
Don't eat that.
It's got kind of a savory.
It is. It's got like a sweetness
Flavor
and like
to it.
some savoriness.
Yeah.
It's you can I think on the finish you can tell where it's 100 proof, but on the front end of it it's more a lot sweeter than I had expected
Yeah.
it to be.
It's definitely sweet.
It still reminds me of a pirate's bourbon. Like I feel like I would drink this if I was out floating around on a ship. So
It's smooth.
it is very
It is.
smooth. Yeah.
I get a little bit
Is
of-
it my favorite? No.
Oh no.
The flavors aren't as complex as I'd want them to be, but it's pretty easy to drink for 100 proof. I mean, not that
Now-
100 proof is.
I wouldn't turn it down.
I wouldn't say no to it.
No.
Now let me pose this question to you because this is something that we're currently working on. If there was someone who wanted to get into bourbon but wasn't a bourbon drinker, would you put this in front of them as a bourbon to try for a non-bourbon drinker? Because we've said it's smooth, and people say like, oh, Basil Hayden is a beginner's bourbon,
I would say probably not.
because of the 100 proof.
I
I'm
just-
so
not just the
far
proof, but the-
removed from that category
Yeah.
now that I need to ask.
And I'm the youngest of the three sitting here, aside from the dog. But I don't think so.
Okay.
Because there's almost too much heat.
There's a heat on the back end.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like between mid tongue to back tongue, I get some heat. I could see this serving well in a cocktail.
Sure, it cut through well.
So that it, you still get the bourbon flavor out of it. But I don't think that people would enjoy this or want to go back to bourbon after their first drink of this.
I find it to be
but-
very easy though.
Is it easy in what way? Sorry.
Just
I got a little sidetracked thinking about where I was gonna go next.
it's just super easy.
Mhm.
Easy to drink. From
From my perspective,
Yeah.
this is like, I could put her on this bottle pretty quick. I think.
I probably could
Yeah,
too.
I mean, it just goes down so easy. There's nothing that makes you pause and sip it slowly. There's no extreme spice or extreme heat or, it's just not got those things that make you say, I'm going to stop and savor this. Like I think this is one that gets away from you and you're sipping as you're talking and then all of a sudden you're like, oh no,
Definitely.
half this bottle's gone.
Definitely.
So that's why I posed the question. But you are right about the back end showing that 100 proof. I mean, I guess.
Thanks. Thank you for validating my
You're validating.
my feelings.
I mean, I think typically if you're talking about a beginner bourbon, you're probably talking about a 100 proof. But like me now, it's like, are you sure? Because 100 proof, there's so little flavor there. It's like.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's something that we're interested in. It's something we're exploring for a further episode.
Yeah. I would go with as a definitive answer. I would say no. Oh, that was short lived. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Sarah is trying so hard for the dog
To love me.
to love
Come
her, and I think she is just
She'd rather bite you.
yes, she would. Oh.
It's okay. We'll play.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay, that's
We're good
fine.
now.
My definitive answer is no. Don't give it to a first time bourbon drinker.
I would agree with that. I think
Um,
they need an 80 proof.
I would say 80 or 90.
If you wouldn't give larceny to a first-time bourbon drinker, you wouldn't give this to them.
Gosh, I don't think I would ever give larceny to...
92 proof.
It's not the
It's 92,
proof so
yeah.
much. It's that you go into a weeded bourbon and you've got a sweeter flavor profile. So for them to try something like larceny for the first time, or Weller, or Makers, or whatever, they might expect every other bourbon that they try to be that sweet.
Well,
Yeah.
You know,
I think
but
you're wanting them to find something that's not objectionable to them.
what's the mash bill on this? Do you know?
I don't.
Okay,
I'd
because
have
it
to look
tastes
up.
it tastes a little bit higher rye,
Well, I
but
think
not like
with the last name
extreme.
of Pepper, I would hope so. Yeah, I would hope so.
But I wouldn't give somebody Bullet for their first.
No.
Look at the back of the bottle.
Isn't that cool?
Oh,
I love that.
That's awesome.
I've seen people have that tattoo, and
You can describe that.
Yeah, you
I
go
don't
ahead.
know if I can.
You do it.
It's
You do it.
it's the
It's the-
colonies, yes.
Yeah, it's the join or die. It was the flag originally from the 13 colonies, right?
Yes.
When America was first founded. So I guess that's where the 1776 comes from.
yeah,
right?
that's
Right?
correct.
Yeah. Huh, look at that. We're learning new things every day, aren't we?
Every podcast.
So if you've never seen the join or die flag, go check that out on Google or Yahoo, or if you're using Yahoo,
Or just buy one of these bottles.
or Bing,
Or Ask Jeeves.
or Ask Jeeves,
No one uses
or
that.
Darkle.
Or Fetch.
It's so fetch.
That's so.
Is it?
Stop trying to make Fetch happen, Perry. Pear Bear.
Oh.
The Pear Bear was officially thrown out for the first
Yeah.
time on the podcast, and it's gonna stick forever. That's
Yeah.
okay. At least I'm not a goat.
That's true.
Anyway, so it's got the join or die flag on the back from when the original 13 colonies became states under the United States Declaration of Independence in 1776. If you're listening from outside the United States, hey,
Look it up.
What's
Google
up?
it.
Yeah, check
That's
it
what
out.
Google's for.
yeah, exactly. Anyway, let me start over. This show was brought about basically because of a graphic design project, which was This Is My Bourbon Shop. So looking at this packaging as a graphic designer, I really like it.
It's nice, huh?
Yeah. I mean, the labels are both really clean, but they have that old world vibe to them. Go check it out for yourself. The bottle is so dark. Oh, it's
It is.
green. Oh, it's a green bottle.
It's green.
Look at
I
that.
didn't notice that. You just held it up. I've never held it up to the light before.
It's a green bottle.
It looked black, huh?
Yeah, I thought it was a black bottle or something like that. But anyway, no, I like it, but there are other bourbons I would drink over it.
Sure. But it's good. I mean, it's not
Yeah, I would offer it to my friends.
Okay, I was just Googling. I was
Okay.
asking Jeeves.
He gave it a gooks.
And Jeeves says the mash bill is %% corn, 38% rye,
So yes,
and %% barley.
so it is definitely a higher rye bourbon.
yes.
So they're going to let you know it's at least 51% corn.
Non-age stated, rumored to be 5 years. And it's about a $30 bottle.
I don't taste a whole lot of youngness on it though.
No,
No.
me either.
I mean,
it's just the sweetness. And I guess that would be from the higher, I don't know if it's 51% corn or what, but I mean, it's at least. But,
It's at least that.
but I don't know if it's more than
38% rye is a very high rye bourbon.
That's
And it's
very, very.
It's
But they're
so
known-
tasty.
They're known as a rye. You know, they're really known for their
Yeah.
rye.
And
So,
I think the spice of the rye is why I wouldn't give it to a first time drinker.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't get it off of this. I get a lot of sweetness, but
Now,
I think our palates we're too far gone. I think
A
to
Reddit
be able to
user-
judge that.
yeah, a Reddit user gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
I know I would probably agree with that.
That's in the same ballpark. That
Yeah,
I
it's
would
not bad.
put it
There's
in.
no reason why not to drink it. There's nothing about it that makes me want to go back to it and enjoy it again and
I
again.
mean, for $30, it's solid.
For $30, it's solid. For
We're talking
100
about
proof,
value
Definitely.
for 100
but now
proof,
for $30
high
for
rye,
100 proof,
high rye 100 proof bourbon, $30. I think
you should
it's
get
got a
Henry
good
McKenna.
value.
I think so too.
Correct. Now Henry
But if
McKenna,
you're first
talking
time-
about high malted barley. Actually.
But if you're a first time drinker and you're listening to the show, I don't know why you're listening to the show.
You're a
because
first time drinker. What are you doing?
try out the Henry McKenna 10-year bottled and bond first.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a better bang for your buck
I agree.
than this.
But if
bottle
you
of
want a
bourbon.
high rye, $30 bourbon that's 100.
Sure, if
Sorry, the dog is licking my foot. Then I say this is a nice choice.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, so I think unanimously we all like it, but we're not crazy about it.
Correct.
I mean, I wouldn't turn it down.
I don't think I would either, by any means.
Yeah.
So cool. There's
Cool.
our definitive
There's the
review of James E. Pepper 1776
Sure.
Kentucky Straight Bourbon. Well, it's not Kentucky Straight.
It
It is
is.
just. Oh, is it? Oh yeah. Never mind. Kentucky Straight Bourbon whiskey. So thank you guys so much for listening through to this rambling of a show. I don't know where this is going to wind up post edits and everything. The dog is just loving on Chad so much.
Actually, she's fighting me.
She's angry. We thought she was sleepy, but really she's just angry.
Chad and Sarah, if they are interested in following up with you post listening to this
Oh,
show, where
yeah.
can they find you?
I would highly recommend emailing us at itsbourbonnight@gmail.com.
Awesome.
It's bourbonnight@gmail.com.
And what about,
Not just it, bourbon night.
What about the social platforms?
Oh yeah, sure. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Obviously, our YouTube channel. We hope you
check 'em out.
subscribe. Yeah, check it out. We've got quite a few videos now. We got uncorkings, fly fights, informational stuff, all kinds of stuff. So that's It's Bourbon Night on YouTube, and all the other social medias also It's Bourbon Night. So
Cool.
yeah, and you can just check it out and do
Yeah.
with that what you will.
Go subscribe to them and
Please subscribe.
leave some comments and share it with your friends as you would your bourbon.
More so than you would your bourbon.
Yeah.
If you're Chad.
Please.
Again, thank you guys so much for listening through to this episode. I know that we're just getting started out, but we really appreciate your downloads and your attention to us. If you want to find us on the interwebs, pretty much across the board, we are at My Bourbon Shop. You can find us at bourbonshop.threadless.com if you want to check out some of our t-shirts and designs and whatnot. There's also, I don't think I've ever brought this up before. There's also like accessories and apparel and that kind of stuff. Oh, the dog has warmed up to Chad.
No, I just caught her.
Oh, well, no, fair enough. If you want to hit me up on my more personal accounts, just search for P. Ritter 1492, all one word or phrase. I'll be
Is that
happy
because
to.
that's when Columbus sailed the ocean?
It was just
Blue.
one of those things where it kind of came to me, and it stuck, and I'm trying to make it a little bit more mainstream. Oh, that dog.
That dog, though.
That dog, though.
She's had enough of you.
Anyway, Chad, Sarah,
Yeah.
All right.
thank
thanks,
you guys
Bears.
Thanks
so
for having
much.
us on
Thank
so
you all so
much.
much for being here.
So
I really
fun.
appreciate it.
We look forward to next time.
Yeah, and look forward to the next time that y'all come and hang out.
Absolutely.
Or I'll go hang out with you guys. I don't
Yeah.
know. I am the Raj of of It's
Oh.
Bourbon Night.
Well, whichever.
whatever it
Next
is.
time we'll order pizza ahead of time.
There we
Yeah.
go. Thank you all
right.
so much for listening. I look forward to talking to you guys next week. And until then, my name is Perry, and this is My Bourbon Podcast.